I just have to tweak my makeup.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Sarah. I am Sarah Oxidine, and with us today we have Guru Dan and Holly.
Hello.
And today's date is, look, we're in a new month.
In
It's
June.
June 2nd, 2020. We've already had multiple discussions going on today. They've all been interesting. So if you want to come and chat with us at some point, find us at Conversations with Sarah on Facebook and YouTube. And if any of this information is helpful, please share with your friends and family and your acquaintances. So much love to all who are watching. Let's get into it. All right. We are at the moment talking about the frequency of being. So it's a lot of the time in the spiritual realm, those who are channeling beings or connecting to beings, meaning either third dimensional, fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional, and up, that we connect to. A lot of the time they come to us as just energy or frequency, and it's really discussing about, it's really hard to understand how to connect to the beings without the concept of name. So we as humans, we like to label everything with a name. So how do we connect to a frequency and say, I want to reconnect to this frequency without a name? Okay. Dan, Holly, you want to give your experiences about this?
Well, just that Hollywood.
I've had quite a few. They were, I would just tell them outright when they did come, I need to be able to call you something. You know, I'm not to the level of where I know your signature frequency that I can just tap into. I'm not there yet. Not to say I won't, but I have to have a name. But for the repeat visitors, I do have repeat visitors that I connect with, and I'm getting with more repetition of that person or being, I can get familiar with feeling them, and that's how they function, is by
Feeling
and frequency. And so my way with the ones I do know are all by how they feel. For those that I am not familiar with, and I have to have a name to go by, and some of them are pretty crazy, like Zilbert. I was like, okay, that's an interesting name.
Zilbert?
Zilbert, yeah, he's one of the multi-galactic watchers. He spent 24 hours with me. Evidently, he knows me well. But yeah, so we as humans need a name up until we get to know the frequency of them, or in our version, not frequency per se, but the feeling of them is our version of getting to know a signature frequency, is by feeling.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever come across the being that you literally saw? They were physical type beings, maybe third or fourth or fifth, but they still did not have a designated name?
Let me think. I've seen with my eyes open, not with my third eye or anything.
Mm-hmm.
A shadow being, orbs. I've seen orbs.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they show up.
Interesting.
And I'm trying to think. I've felt them. I've felt them near me. I've they do stuff, like one time I had something actually was in one of Jim's classes, I think. And somebody blew in my ears, like actual breath, but at the same time, both ears at the same time. So I don't know if that was one or two, but no, I can't say as I've seen, like, not with my eyes open, but they've been there. I've sensed them, I've spoken to them, I've felt them, just not seen them.
Dan,
I've
have you?
seen versions.
Oh,
Sorry.
oh, yeah. I was sorry to cut you off, but I was wanting Dan's perspective on it too.
Absolutely.
No, I was just saying that, sometimes these energies, they come, and you were saying they don't have a name. They just go by a frequency. And sometimes you think, yeah, well, we need designations for things. We can't just, hi, I'm frequency, whatever, 12. It's kind of like, oh, okay. Or sometimes they
That's
come and they say, we
fine.
don't have a name. Well, then what can I call you so that I can have that designation? Because here we have a designation for everything. Everything is given a name, or it's given some other kind of identifier. Like, you can't, my name is Store. Well, what kind of store? Are you like a shoe store, or are you a Dairy Queen store? Are you a gas station? What kind of store are you? You can't just say store. And they say, oh, well, I don't have a name. So well then where are you? Where's your store located? On what street? And then you'll identify them by their position instead of identifying them by, some other kind of name designation. So sometimes when these beings come, and like they say, well, we don't have a name. And so, well, do you have a name I can call you? Because I require a designation just so I can keep you straight in my mind, because I just can't have like a rogue frequency. Oh, rogue frequency, please come to my mind. Even if that's what you call them. Oh, rogue frequency number 1 or rogue frequency number 2. I know it
Well,
sounds
sometimes I get
crazy.
through it when I'll ask them where they come from, because the frequency may be very distinct, and it may be distinct to a species of being. So I'll ask where you come from. If they're able to give that information, they may do so. And then I'll have a idea of which part of the galaxy they come from. And so I'll have that as a mental image of that frequency and where they are coming from, which direction. So it may be to your benefit to begin learning about the stars, star systems, maybe, just to have a locality of a direction of the frequency. Or sometimes even that's not even possible. Oh my God. Sometimes they're just light beings. And then what do you do? Right? But I find it interesting that is sometimes you begin to, for me, sometimes I could begin to taste the frequency and understand it on that level. So maybe it's one of those things we have to begin using other sensations, other physical sensations that we have. You know how they say you have the 5 senses, you know, if it's the the sensory of seeing, if it's the sensory of smelling, tasting, touching, or etheric even. Have you ever tried that way, Dan?
No, I'm not. I didn't understand what you were saying.
So some of these frequencies can be sensed in other ways. Like Holly said,
Yeah, like if
when
you
the
have a
energy is
sensation or something.
there.
So say when that frequency comes around, let's say you get a sensation in your left elbow,
Yeah.
right? And then and then that becomes their designation. Then, oh, you're the left elbow collective. Okay,
I
great.
actually had that happen, Dan. It was my right elbow, actually, and it would get pinched, like, ow, right out of nowhere. And it was Shiva.
It was Shiva.
That was his calling card. He pinched my right elbow.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Annoying, but, that Shiva. He's pretty full of himself.
He gotta let you know he's there.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of
The Shiva
pompous.
does that. Yeah.
The Shiva I know, yes.
Yeah.
Well, you're a person who likes to know that the being
Yes, well,
is
that's
there.
kind
That's
of
probably
my
why he
main
pinches
thing
you.
anyways, is the know, that, what do you call that, clairsentience, the knowing. That's my main thing, I guess, at this point.
Mhm.
Not the seeing, but that's supposed to be coming.
Yeah, it's
I think
coming.
I've been downloaded for it, but it's not unpacked it. Zip drive still zipped.
Hmm.
Those take longer, I guess.
Yeah.
But smell too. I've smelled beings. One race, I was talking to my mentor and his mate, and all of a sudden I felt like this. I was talking to her, and I felt this. It almost was like cotton candy in my mouth. It felt fluffy. It had a texture. It felt fluffy, and it was sweet. And I stopped what I was saying, and I'm like, I told her about what I was feeling in my mouth. I was tasting and feeling something in my mouth that was like cotton candy. And she goes, and that's when there was actually this new collective of beings, which wouldn't give their name just yet, that she had been connected with, and they connected to me through her. So they're going to be future alliance or something, but that's their calling card. And they explained through her that although that's going to be their calling card, it's also going to be a discernment tool, that when truth is spoken or heard, that is one of the sensations that I will experience. So they kind of added that to me as a discernment tool,
Lovely.
amongst others.
So I just wanted to give a different perspective of this. So here on planet Earth, we as humans, sometimes when we smell,
No, she lost her audio again. So she's going to have to go back and start smell over when her signal comes back.
Darn it.
there we go, I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were right at smell.
Okay, so with the smell, we sometimes can smell something in our present moment, and it reminds us of a time in the past where we had that same smell, and an entire memory is given to us with that smell. And so we can recognize a time period, a frequency of time with just the smell. At least I've had that experience. Anybody else have that experience?
Oh yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, see, it's normal, right? So it's just like with these beings. We will recognize a sensation, and then when the sensation comes back, it'll give us a memory of a connection to a frequency or force or energy. And then we can reconnect and say, this is who you are. This is where I remember you from, because humans work from memory, right? And sensations of memory. And memory isn't just a thought pattern, it's an all encompassing idea. It comes with seeing something, it comes with hearing something, it comes with tasting something and touching something. It comes with all of those ideas combined at one time. And that's what gives us a reality of understanding of where and when we are. So it's the same thing with this frequency of understanding that this is a being, and this is the frequency of that being, who may or may not have a name, but that frequency becomes a reality or a thought process or pattern that we can connect to and say, oh, that's that information. This is this type of being that I'm connected to. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
So that's the thought that came to me in a way to describe how to connect to an
One of the
energy.
ways that connections, yeah,
One of the way to make that connection. Yeah.
What
And
about the concept of knowing a soul so well that you experience them with all of your senses at once? Not just one or two, but all at once.
isn't that delicious?
And the most, and because, and that is like it measures the depth of knowing by how many senses are involved that you're experiencing with that being. So the more senses you're experiencing them with, the more you know them, the deeper the connection.
Yes.
What about that thought process?
Well, that is the truth. That's another way. That is the truth, definitely. Like I was telling you before, I experienced a being who could not tell me a name because they were a frequency, but what I felt was an all-encompassing love. And I felt like I was flowing in a beautiful energy and a love energy that's their frequency. And I haven't noticed that with any other being as powerful as I did with that one. And so that became that being's frequency for me. So I can connect to it any point in time. So it's like once you connect to a frequency and you experience it, you can, hello?
We're here.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yes. So once you connect to a frequency and experience what it feels like, you can connect to it again at any point because you've already had an experience of what it is to you.
Yes.
So I found that very interesting.
Although there were times I've forgotten. like one day I frustrated Mother Gaia, who showed up unexpectedly, and she kind of chastised me, like, you don't know me by now? You can't tell who I am? I'm like, I'm sorry. I know you're female. That's all I can, So she kind of got on my case about that one, but so you definitely have to learn them.
Yeah. It's like you're learning anything.
Right. Being humans as we are, we're just kind of, what do they call that? The rote learning process to just repeat it and repeat it and repeat it,
Yeah,
and eventually it
repeating
sticks.
something, build that muscle up.
Yep, yep.
Build up to understanding, oh, that's this frequency, oh, that's that frequency, oh, it's that being. But you know, Gaia gets funny when her own children, which we are as human beings,
Yes.
we are her children, when we can't recognize her.
Yes,
She does gets
exactly.
a little like, really?
Yeah. Yeah, she was a little, not in a mean way, but very
She
motherly.
loves you.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
gosh, yes. You
why
know
don't you
what?
mother?
Don, remember Don was a part
Yeah.
of this group there one time. He recently introduced me to someone he knew. He brought us together, who is the incarnation of Mother Gaia.
And
I'm not
incarnation.
Gaia.
It's not
I'm
the
sorry.
incarnation.
Not Gaia. Mother Nature. I'm sorry.
Mother Nature. Okay.
She is in the physical Mother Nature, which
But
I'm sure
you know
is
that we all are, right? You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We're all representations of Mother Nature and Gaia. You're muted, Holly.
Yeah, just give me a minute. I was just checking.
Okay.
I think I locked the dog in the room.
Oh, get him out. Hey, Dan.
All the weird things. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah. You have anything to add to this?
No. Nothing else to add to that topic.
Yeah. I
It
like
can
it.
stand on its own.
Yeah, but I like it because it just shows us the many different frequencies that there are: thoughts, feeling, touching, seeing, hearing, wind,
Yeah.
uh, tasting, you know, and then etheric, you know, which would be the more spiritual, the more light type of just energy type of being. So yeah, there are many ways to connect to the frequency of a being if they don't have a name. You got to feel them out.
Yeah, but at least it becomes a designation that you can recall.
Exactly.
Instead of just being told, I don't have a name. Oh, okay. That just makes it more interesting.
Yeah. So it's very interesting that I thought that would be a good discussion for today.
Yeah, it is.
It's a quick one, but
It
it's a
is.
good
It's short and sweet.
one.
Yeah.
But for those who are watching, thank you for watching. And I'd like to close out with a prayer. Holly, would you like to add one too?
Certainly. Let's see who wants to come through here. We were talking about Mother Nature there last before I unlocked the dog from the room. So let's try to tap into that component of Mother Gaia, Mother Nature. Hatikia shasatia shasatai katayata masasai kachisia shasatai kataya chatatia chasati kachasa atsikiti ataya chatakiti kiturmutsitsi kichikatia chasasa. Hatiketia chasatia chakatita anapatati chiakatadia pasata katia chatsiki chikatapa atsa chasatiki. Namaste.
Namaste. Even that had a frequency to it.
It did. I wonder where that one came from. I don't think it was Mother Nature.
It was literally, I can feel my energy balancing itself as you were speaking.
I don't know that I've ever had that come out of my mouth before.
It's beautiful.
I'll mute myself now. Thank you.
I loved it. Okay. I'll get one too. Salaya tukolai. Kai sikulai di kuratin. Aira takairi. Korata yara koama. Hieratina I urini riti. Kwaya ni ura arat ereti. Kurat erutku oti. Kamaire te alla I nururuta. Alla ini ratki umira. Hiu sukule. Hela leitu laina ia itu uisha. Hai waya diini. Ala ini ulai waya. Hai siki. Kani kushuko.
Hmm.
Koratai akai ushi hai silati maya ia ke oya. Namaste.
Namaste. The audio cut out part of that, but not long
Oh,
enough to just a second or two.
okay, good.
Yeah. So most of it was there.
Well, there was
Beautiful.
love for humanity in there.
Yeah. Those that need that will get that. Yeah, it's a feeling
Yeah,
thing. You sometimes feel a
gotta
little
feel
tingle
it.
on the top of your head when you hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. Or tingle in your feet.
Yeah. Or some,
That was very
or anywhere
nice.
else the energy decides to vibrate. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for watching today. If you like what you have heard today, please share it amongst your social network and give it a thumbs up or subscribe or comment below. We love to see your comments towards the topics and share how you're feeling or how do you connect to beings or energies or even parts of yourself you may have rediscovered, right? So we love to see it all. So thank you for watching. I love you. I love you. I love you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.